You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's C-Wall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all that we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, C-Wall, checking in as I do each and every single week to give you the latest and greatest information and updates and run through of all things Washington Commanders on this here show. All right, you all, it is Victory Monday, so we definitely want to have a conversation about the Washington Commanders. Before we get started, you know, we got to go through a run through of all of the kind of do's and don'ts and all of that. First things first, we have to share that this is a live Bowie television recording. We're on Bowie television each and every single day, 1:30 to 2:30, 1:30 to 2:30 on Verizon Fios, channel 11, and Comcast Xfinity channel 77. So make sure you are tuned in there. If you missed the live recording for Bowie TV, also, you all, have you shared the show? Have you checked in? Have you hit the love button? Make sure you have hit that love button. Make sure we get the conversation going. Make sure you are sharing this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends, because we definitely want to get into all things Washington Commanders. I see there's already been some greetings to the queen herself, my mama, my mother, Mama Waller. Make sure you all are saying hello to Pops Waller too, because he pops in sometimes from the YouTube community, but he's quiet when he's on there. So I see Cameron Mingo has checked in, Lydell, of course, Mazdak has checked in from the C-Wall team. So you all hit that love button, hit that fire emoji. There is a lot that we need to discuss. You see Joy is on as well. You absolutely want to get folks involved and engaged, because we got a lot to talk about. A whole lot to talk about, and we're going to make this as engaging as possible. I had already given folks an update while I was still in Houston that I said I want to have some fun on this show. And oh, by the way, it is Thanksgiving week. So let me just go ahead and say there will not be a live recording on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day, with everybody to enjoy their day with their families. That's why we got to turn up and do what it is that we do on the show right now. So you guys, let's get right on into it. We're going to play one of our favorite games. But it's fun to play this game on a Victory Monday, isn't it? So hit that love button, hit that fire emoji, and drop in the chat what's your one word to describe how you are feeling about the Washington Commanders' victory over the Houston Texans. Share how you are feeling about that win. Listen, I know you have to feel some sort of way. It's got to be something. You got to be saying to yourself, you know what? This is looking, what's the word you want to call it? So Mazdak's word was for solid for the first half. My mother went all the way to hallelujah. my godmother, she's using multiple words. Everyone's using multiple words. I guess that's because everyone is just that excited about the win. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. So look, we're going to get into here's how we're going to do the show. We're going to definitely get into some just overall thoughts, conversation, discussion about the game. And while we're doing that, definitely also now drop into the chat who are some of your favorite players, because we're going to look at some pictures from Bowie TV's own Darrell Owens that he took while at the game on the field yesterday. So, you know, we'll have to see. I think this is going to be fun. Maybe that's my one word. Let me say that. I'm going to say my one word is fun. And here's why I'm saying that my one word is fun. I'm seeing one of the folks, I think, who was at the game in Houston. Tina Moore has just checked in, and I'm going to use the word fun because it was really, really great. And if you watched any of my kind of post game, it was about first thing I wanted to share. So many fans traveled for this game. The stadium is nice, but even Coach Ron Rivera had to comment in his press conference earlier today on the Zoom that, I mean, he's getting stopped by folks now, congratulating him on how well the team is doing, just showing their love. And that game was fun. I mean, I was shocked. I normally don't come out of the press box often. But for pregame, I did, because there was people there that had traveled and had reached out and said, hey, I'm here, or this. And I said, wow, this is okay. And then as I was walking through, folks were stopping me. I'm seeing people, it's Commanders fans, at the concession stands, it's Commanders fans taking pictures, you name it. The burgundy and gold was everywhere. And it was awesome. It was amazing. That was good. And I said, I really hope, that's all I kept saying, I really hope the Commanders pull this one out, pull this game with the W for certain. With all these fans here, and they absolutely did. So it was good. It was fun. I smiled often, and I don't do that watching the team. But it was just good energy overall. And as Tina Moore said, absolutely, Commanders fans, kudos. So hopefully the energy will continue even at home. Perhaps that good vibes and that good energy will help, fans say, hey, let's go to FedEx Field for the showdown with the Atlanta Falcons. But before we get there, go ahead and drop in the chat any of the players that you really enjoyed watching, and then we're going to get into a bit of that ourselves. If you're just checking in, make sure you hit that love button, hit that fire emoji, so that we can say hey and get you involved in the conversation. Now, here is someone who did not play, but everyone knows now this is the big news, I think, of today. So the big news yesterday was the win, obviously. And then today, the big news is that Chase Young will be activated to the 53-man roster this week. Coach Rivera has been adamant about not bringing him back too soon, and that's all. And they didn't, and they're not. And they want to make sure he's okay. So whether or not he will actually play is still undetermined. But Chase will absolutely be added to the 53 this week or today. He's probably already on there right now. So let's go ahead and go through some more of the big news. Taylor Heinicke, and I know Joy from the Seawall team love this news. Taylor Heinicke, QB1. And I'm going to stay here for a minute. I'm gonna stay here for a minute on the QB on Taylor Heineke being named QB1. He was very open and just you could tell he was happy. I mean, like he said, this is something that you work your whole career for, you work your whole life for. It's a childhood dream, right? You work all these years, then you're in the league, and then you're not in the league, and then you come back and you're a backup, and you're consistently a backup, and you're contributing, and then you finally get told, and you finally are shared and said, hey, you're gonna be the starting quarterback. And so he's QB1, and it is what it is. I mean, the team is responding. There's definitely the synergies and all of those things happening, and you don't want to potentially ruin that. I'm just use the word ruin. You want to keep the consistency, and you want to keep the energy, and it is important to do that. And that is what is happening. You know, it's the fight, it's the resilience, it's this guy was getting ready for a final and they call him up, and now he's the starting quarterback. It's truly a testament to hard work, perseverance, for certain. In a little bit, I do want to go through, you know how I normally break up Ron Rivera's press conferences and really dig deep into some of the things that he was saying. Darrell and I decided we want to really break down Jonathan Allen's after game press conference, because there was a lot that he said in there, and I truly want to share with our viewers about that, about everything he went into in that presser. So he got it. QB1. Here we go. Now, other players. This is from the coin toss. You know, we always got to show love to Tress Way. How about Kendall Fuller? How about it, right? Very first play for the defense. Kendall Fuller with his first pick six. Kudos to you, sir. I know Kendall Fuller gets, we've been hard, we'll be critical, but you know what we do on Culture from the Couch? What do? We're critical, but when credit is due, we pay up. And so Kendall Fuller, kudos to you, my friend. Amazing job. And I wanted to shout out Logan Thomas. Can I just shout out Logan Thomas? And I do think there's a picture of Logan Thomas included in here as well. And Logan Thomas had some big plays. And as Taylor Heineke shared in his after-game presser, he really wanted to get Logan that touchdown, and I wanted him to get one too, but he did not get it. But it's okay. It's okay. It's coming soon. He absolutely made some big plays, and I'm happy to see him. He looked like, and they said it yesterday, vintage Logan. And I was like, couldn't help but to feel that excitement. Yes, I have included a picture of Coach Ron Rivera in here. And here's why. I've included this picture of Coach Rivera. I think it's very important. And I'm saying this because yesterday I had to smile and just kind of nod my head, because Coach Rivera is doing the right thing per his team. He is listening to the insight, and he is watching and sensing how his team is responding to Taylor and just overall. And so today on the Zoom, Coach Rivera's energy, I have not seen him this happy. And the thing of it is, just last Monday night, you all may have seen it on TV or saw it in the press conferences, but we also saw that Coach Rivera was very emotional. He was very emotional. He had just, with the passing of his mom and grieving that and all of the energy surrounding that, and then the team winning in the manner that they did on Monday Night Football. And so he was kind of, reserved yesterday. But today on the Zoom, he just was so happy. He was just so happy. And I had to say, you know what? this is going to be a good thing. This is a good thing for the team. Players are coming back from injuries. You got Logan Thomas looking like vintage Logan Thomas, and that is truly exciting. So I wanted to show a picture of Coach Ron Rivera because I thought it was important, because he's listening and he's doing, exactly what his players are responding to. And like he said, hey, they're winning. That's the decision. That's why I made the decision. The team is winning. That's it, and that's all. So kudos to Coach Rivera for responding in this way to his team. Now, I believe I saw Cameron Mingo say Montez Sweat was a player that he just loved, right? I think I saw that comment. Montez Sweat has been every single week, overall the defense every single week has been responding in such a positive way. There seems to be getting better each and every single week. And wow, it is just kudos, so much kudos. And again, we're critical, but when it's time to pay up, when we got to give credit, we're going to pay up. We paying up to Jack Del Rio. We got to pay up to Jack Del Rio, you all. And he's got his defense playing lights out. Exciting. I think I saw Eric Jessup say Antonio Gibson, AG24, somebody else. We've been tough on him in the past. But guess what? Listen, can't even be mad. So it was just two. And I see this comment here. I see that the First String podcast is on. And I see this comment from Cedric Carter, and that's definitely exactly right. And so, hey, I'm loving all this energy today. Can we give a shot? We're probably just gonna always say something about Terry McLaurin, whether he do anything or not. Can we just say that? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, still being active contributors to the offense. Jarrell caught that picture, and we wanted to make sure that we shared that one for certain. This guy right here, Jonathan Allen, we're going to deep dive into his press conference because I think it's really, really important for us to talk through and see if you all heard some of the things that J.A. was saying in his presser. Again, here's Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne having some fun after how many sacks did they put on the Texans? How many was it? And this has been a recurring thing, you all. This isn't anything new. This has been brewing. This has been something that's been going on and ready to go. So, hey, when you come up on a team and people will say, well, the Texans aren't good. Well, okay, perfect. That means they did what they were supposed to do defensively. Now, I will absolutely say I still would like to see this offense score more points. Shout out to Joey Sly for still staying consistent from the special teams perspective. Tressway as well. But I still want to see more touchdowns. But hey, in this regard, whatever wins the game, whatever gets on the scoreboard, and that's what we're seeing. So I guess I'm catching all of you all to see exactly, it was exciting. First String Podcast was in the building. So shout out to you all and Tina Moore. This is going to be fun. I think the rest of this ride is going to be interesting. So who's ready to get into Jonathan Allen's press conference? Who is ready to get into Jonathan Allen's press conference? You all know the drill. How we do this is we basically just kind of say, hey, let's get into this and let's go through each one of pieces of his presser. We want to get through as many as we can. We split it up kind of like in twos, but we're going to get to as much as we can because this was a big week. I don't know if you all realize it or not, but this was a big week. And I also want to say that Coach Rivera brought up again that the team should have won that Minnesota game. But hey, that was a few weeks ago. I will not bring up old news, but I think it was very important that I say that that Coach Rivera did, in fact, acknowledge they let that Minnesota game slip away.
Do you think this is the best? You were obviously here in 2020 when you guys had a big year on defense. Is this the best, though, do you think you guys played?
Defensive line-wise or just defense?
Defense.
The best, it's hard to say because I feel like the best defenses are the most consistent. And we had a really good first half. Second half was not as good. We had a good game against Philadelphia, and then against the Vikings, we let too many drives down the field late in the game and we lost. So I think the best defenses are about consistency. You know, when you look at the 2000 Ravens, I don't think they led a total of 1,000 yards throughout the entire season. And that's because they're consistently stopping the run. They're consistently doing the little things right. So you can't really look at one game and decide if we're being the best or not. You have to look at it as a season at the very end.
Your handshake with Payne, is that something that you guys have always, like, does that get updated over the years, or is that something you've always had since you played together?
Man, we just try to have fun. You know, football is a very tough game and it's very stressful, and people see it on Sundays, but they really don't see what goes into it Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. And if the average fan really saw what football was like, I think a lot would be turned off because it's a nasty game, and it's physical and it's tough and it's emotionally draining. So when you have success, because it's very hard to make plays in the NFL, you got to enjoy one another. You know, especially, I don't know if Payne's going to be here. I don't know what his situation is. We're just trying to enjoy one another, play off each other, and, you know, just have fun. I feel like too many times you get caught up in all the big stuff, but really just enjoy being around each other. You know, when you talk to guys who aren't in the league no more, the biggest thing that they miss is the locker room. So I'm really trying to take that in and not, even though I know I'll miss it, I really try not to overlook the little things, and that's just having fun with the guys.
Is that something that you've focused in on more this year?
I would say so, yeah. I'll say so. And I think a lot of it has to do with the security of, you know, having my contract. I can focus on just having fun a little bit more. Not saying that I'm not as focused, but I'm really just trying to enjoy the locker room we have. We have a great room, and I'm really, really blessed and excited to be able to play with them because they make my job so much easier.
Ron just told us that Taylor's going to start going forward until he's not, I guess. What's your view of that as a guy you're not playing with him, but you're all seem to be feeding off of him?
Coach Saban used to always say the team decides the starting quarterback. Every time he comes into plays, the team just rallies around him. The offense rallies around him. Can't really understand it. Can't really explain it. It just is what it is.
All right, thanks, John.
Appreciate it.
So that was toward the end of the presser, but it was still a lot of nuggets and sound bites there. And feel free to drop in the chat what your takeaways are. And I already see that the First String Podcast is already chipped in with their takeaway is, listen, yes, absolutely. There's still talk about Daron Payne not wanting to be here, issues with there are none. I'm not really serious. Things happen, right? But these guys really enjoy each other. You've heard almost every player after the after-game presser talk about how much they enjoy being in this locker room and being together. It's a thing. It's a real thing. And more people need to believe the players in what they are telling you. Believe what you are seeing out there on the field when they're doing all their handshakes and they're really getting excited. It's a great thing to see. I see this comment from Terrence Pitts here. Agree with the defensive aspect. Consistency matters. He said no lies, none whatsoever. I think it's just I like to share these moments as I'm in person listening to them, and I'm saying, okay, this is something that fans need to hear, and we need to dig a little bit more into it. Love this comment from DJ Bland. Allen loves the guys around him. These guys are gelling on defense. I think what everyone is experiencing and seeing is, remember the 2020 season. And so everybody had high expectations in 2021. What ended up happening is they kind of fell off everyone's radar because they didn't necessarily live up to expectations or hype, right? The following season. But what they doing out there now? This is the defensive line that everybody has been wanting to see and knowing that they could be. We all saw it. We all knew it. It was real on paper. But look at how real it is in real life. You got 3 defensive linemen with over 5.5 sacks on the season so far. Pretty impressive if you ask me. Also want to go back to the point about the game being hard and it being tough. And you all may have heard me share this in previous shows, which is exactly what he said. I had no idea until I was on this side of the business just how much work goes into that. I made a comment to you all, when things are blowing up on social media and Twitter, especially if some news breaks on a Sunday morning. If it's in the morning, these guys don't see it. The coaches don't see it because they are studying. They are in film. They are preparing for practice. They are getting ready. Okay? They don't see that stuff. They're not paying attention to it. Trust me. So we kind of do all of that ourselves, but we're not the ones that need to get in a game day mindset and go out there. It is ugly. It is brutal. It is hard. It is harsh. And we're watching all of them do this together and growing together. And it's amazing. Can we get a love button or a fire emoji to finally hear of a time where the team is getting along? They're maneuvering through the adversity and really are happy for each other, and that they're really doing what's best for the team. Ron Rivera is not making decisions based on who he brought in, who he wanted here. He is doing what is best for his team. That is what is best based on his insight and how he feels, per se, or who he brought in, or we're paying this guy $28 million. We got to play him. He like, listen, we got to win. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. And if this is who the team is responding to, this is how we rolling with it. Okay. I want to acknowledge this comment from Ant from the First String Podcast. I like how he was honest about the uncertainty of his teammate returning and about, hey, these guys, if you're really paying attention and listening in these pressers, that's why I bring them to you all and say, let's talk through that. I want you all to listen and we're going to talk through it. This is why I want you to hear it. I want you to feel it. I want you to sense it, because they're giving you the answers to all the questions that you have. So the noise should stop in a lot of areas. That's one thing we bring in Seawall Sports, and we're bringing it to Bowie Television. It is the authenticity and the transparency. The answers are there. There's no need to make anything up. Okay. All right. I definitely want to share another piece of the press conference. Are you all cool with that? Are you all cool? Let's see. We're going to do a little bit more of sharing. Let's see which this one is. I know Darrell is going to get me because he's like, we put them in order.
Yeah, I'm definitely having fun, but I really only have fun when I win, just being honest. I'm here to win, and if I'm not winning, it's not that I'm not having fun, but as Coach Saban would say, I hate losing more than I like winning.
This may be dumb, but what is it like to literally push a guy backwards the way you did to Kenyon Green, and how were you kind of able to do that?
I think it's just technique. Coach Jim Tomsula, my first year, taught me the hump move, and it's something I've been able to cultivate. And going into year 6, I feel like I have a good grasp on it. And him being a rookie, he probably hasn't seen a move like that. And it was bad timing for him, good timing for me, and just really going out there and executing.
And as a defense, where do you feel like you guys started to turn a corner early on? Like, was there a game or kind of a? Ron said the Philadelphia game.
I don't know if there's one game in particular. I think when we just started playing loose, with younger guys, it's common to see them not want to make a mistake, and that's a good thing. But you can't go out there and focus on not making mistakes, because you're going to make mistakes. You really got to focus on playing hard and playing fast. I like to think, and I don't know the numbers, but the best defenses miss a lot of tackles, but they swarm so much that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? When you're running full speed, you're going to miss tackles, but when you have 11 guys doing it, it makes up for it. So mistakes are going to happen as a defense. You just have to have all guys playing with tremendous effort and flying to the ball.
I know you don't care what others' perception of the defense is, but when you're out on the field, do you notice that offenses view you guys as a consistent threat, as one of the league's better defenses?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But, as a defensive line, it's our job to make sure our linebackers and DBs have the easiest job possible. So our job is to be disruptive. If we can get to the quarterback, great. If not, we're going to force tips. We're going to make plays in the backfield, and we're just going to be disruptive. And as long as the defense is having success, that's all that matters.
And the play of a lot of the younger DBs, like Derek Forrest coming up with these picks, how much does that help you guys? How much does the coverage and rush play off each other in game?
Without coverage, you will never get a sack. And without pressure, it's very hard to play defensive back. So it really goes hand in hand, and that's including the linebackers. So, like, when I get a sack, I think you can look at 10 other guys on the field who are making it possible for me to make that play. And, so that's why I try not to base my performance based off of sacks, because you can have the worst game of your career technique-wise and get 2 sacks, or you can play the best game of your career and get no sacks. It really is situational. So I just try to base my performance off of technique and how disruptive I am.
Possibly a dumb question, but with the way you guys are so cohesive, and especially at the rush games, do you feel like you're able to dictate more to the offense and what you want to do?
I think so. Always, we have a saying that they have to block us. We don't have to beat them, and that's just the mindset you got to have. Their job is to stop us. We're going to beat them, and the onus is on them to stop us, and that's the mentality we have going in every game.
I really thought it was important to share that clip, and there's some others, but we are about at time, you all. It was so important because Jonathan Allen has now shared he's able to do his job because there's 10 other guys on the field that's doing theirs. He made so many, he dropped so many nuggets throughout their whole press conference. And I know we talked a lot about all the positives. There was a lot of positive things to talk about, and still, of course, some things that are going to happen, right? But Derek Forrest, we did not include a picture of Derek Forrest, but I want to acknowledge him and saying back-to-back weeks, we've just seen Derek flourish and continuing to play with confidence. And I said it last week, he always has his eyes on that football, and you all see me smiling because what is one of the things that I tell you all a lot of things, but one of the things I say all the time is I want to see progress. I want to see improvement. Don't show me a problem that I saw in training camp in July or in August. I don't want to see it. No one should want to see it. We're seeing progress. We're seeing improvement. That is what you want to see and share, right? I love this comment from Tina Moore, right? Everybody, they get in the huddle, they're congratulating one another. They are moving this forward. And oftentimes you see the defense cheering for the offense and even for special teams. Let me tell you, they love the special teams. Their kick unit, they just go crazy over those guys now, right? It's all the things you wish the team was doing before. We're in a position currently where that is what the team is doing. All the things that we've been asking about, all the issues, all the problems that we've been talking about on this show, it's coming together. Hopefully, the health continues. Staying healthy continues. And that is something that you got to be positive about. And exactly this comment from Janet Davis Scott. They're starting to act like a real team. This is what it is. And I love Jonathan Allen's, hey, he'll admit, you was Nick Saban. I hate losing more than I like winning. Woo. I was like, well, I understand that. It's a winner's mentality, right? But I want to continue. You all have heard me say this. Taylor said it again in his after game presser. You're going to hear me continue. You're going to watch me and hear me say, let's keep the noise out. this is what everybody wants to see, right? It's happening in a positive way. Good. Very, 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 very good. Now, when have y'all ever seen me close the show out like that? Never. That has never happened. It's the first time in Seawall history on Bowie Television. You definitely have not seen me say very, very, very good. Probably ever. Not when talking about this team. Anyway, you all listen, we have done it again. We have gotten through another episode of Coaching from the Couch, the Washington Commanders update. Listen, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for your amazing commentary and conversation. You know we love it. It'll be showing on TV each and every single day. You can still catch it right here on Facebook and YouTube as well. You all listen, have a happy Thanksgiving. I shared this at the beginning of the show. There will not be a Coaching from the Couch weekly DMV sports update this week. We'll be right back next week with the Washington Commanders update in the hopes that we'll be celebrating another Victory Monday. Okay, you all, listen, you all stay safe, be well, and have a very, very happy Thanksgiving.
You're not on the field, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's C-Wall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all that we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.